Okay, I'm gonna welcome on our jury. Jury, if you can please turn your cameras on. Oh my gosh, everyone looks so beautiful. Hello, all. Welcome everybody. Okay, before I read the votes, I do have something I wanted to say. Forgive me, I am going to be reading off of a Google Doc that I wrote. It's just how I process things. Okay, so I wanted to begin tonight by addressing how I ended banishment last night. As most of you know, I'm a very emotional person, and I was struggling with watching one of my players emotionally break down and not being sure of whether it was my place to intervene and fix it. But in saying what I said about gender bias, it came across as a blatant statement, invalidated the jury's experiences, and made it feel that if you were against Charlotte, then you must be sexist or couldn't push back with me. Everyone on the jury played this complex game and is entitled to how they felt and their experiences. And I'm sorry to each member on the jury for taking that away because of how I felt. I have witnessed gender bias each and every season, and I witnessed moments last night, but how it was delivered did not convey my intent. We'll talk about it later on in the reunion. An aspect of this game that is so compelling but challenging is that, unlike Survivor, viewers and myself never get to see communication between players. This makes it so that we are quick to make judgments or think we have the full picture. I often talk to Marissa about how I've never played this game and I don't actually know what it feels like to play, how to turn on someone, be a part of a blind side, or have to come out of a season into a community with bated breath over how will I be perceived? Will the community hate me? Will they support me? And trying to create a gaming community that values inclusivity, I think I created this sense of goodness, and that we must be good. And if you mess up, then you aren't good, which is not accurate. And rather than allowing for missteps and sorting through things, it becomes very definitive. This game is so complex and contains so much gray area. There are two sides to a story, and there should be benefit of the doubt. There should be room. I'm sorry for creating that environment and hope that I can steer things to a different place. I've said each season that we only cast good people and firmly stand by that, whether players have felt that from me or not. As I'm sure many of you have guessed, when I began this game, I never thought it would become what it is today. I'm incredibly grateful for what it is, the people that I've met and the lessons I've learned from it. As producer Corey said to me, it is not often that we are actually engaging with larger issues instead of just liking or reposting on social media. Although how I delivered the message last night was a little bit messy, I'm glad that we can wrestle with these issues together. I'm thankful for the experience and I wouldn't change any of it. I hope you all continue to hold myself and others accountable, and I hope that we all give each other grace as we sort through things. So I just wanted to begin with that. And now I am going to read the vote. Okay. First vote, Jerry. That's 1 for Jerry. Second vote, Jerry. That's 2 for Jerry. Third vote, Cam. That's 1 for Cam, 2 for Jerry. Fourth vote, Jerry. That's 3 for Jerry, 1 for Cam. Char. That's 1 for Cam, 1 for Charlotte, 3 for Jerry. Jerry. That's 4 for Jerry, 1 for Cam, 1 for Charlotte. Jerry, that's 5 for Jerry, 1 for Cam, 1 for Charlotte. And our winner of season 5 All-Stars is Jerry. Congratulations, Jerry. You have won season 5 All-Stars.
Congrats, Jerry.
Unmute yourself. Would love to chat with you about how it feels to win.
Well done, Jerry.
Well, thank all of you. It truly is so spectacular, so amazing. It feels like such a good honor to be recognized and acknowledged for the game that I played, and it's I'm glad I wasn't shortlisted, and I'm just very, very thankful and very, very happy and very glad I'm surrounded by all of you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's an honor.
Well, congratulations Congratulations again, Jerry. You played an incredible game. You had so many idols, and it was really phenomenal to see you play this season. I am now just going to kind of move us into the reunion. So I'm going to ask that all previously quarantined players please turn on their video. I believe the only one missing tonight is Tommy, who couldn't be with us, but everyone else will be here. Hi, beautiful people. Also, before we continue on, I did want to recognize Cam and Charlotte for their incredible games. I meant what I said last night. I feel that all three of you guys played amazing, amazing games, and you all had compelling cases and deserve to be there. And as head of this game, there's nothing I could ask for more than three very good players to be in the end, and to watch that. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive into things. We're just gonna kind of go through this reunion together. First though, one of the questions that some fans had as far as jury, I wanted to ask, did you all have, or were any of you, did you not have your minds made up yet when we went into it last night? Definitely Carter and Shannon. Okay, so Carter, can you talk to me a little bit more about what went into deciding your vote? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear him, or is it just me? Okay, we can't hear you. Okay. While Carter figures that out, Ben, did you want to talk about what went into factoring your decision last night?
I want to give Carter the floor if possible, but
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, Ben, but gosh, as you could tell, I was really going back and forth in my decision throughout the entire final banishment. I would be swayed one way or another by these three finalists. They all gave incredible answers. I truly think they all played a winning game, but you can only, vote for one person. My vote was the Char vote. I voted for her because I felt like she was a linchpin in the direction the game played, and everyone going home. And I felt like she was the common thread in so many different alliances, and really in the driver's seat for a lot of the game, and wanted to honor that. But congratulations to all three of you, and Jerry, so glad that you will represent these All-Stars.
Ben, did you want to speak on what factored into your decision last night?
I firstly want to just send lots of love, and I know last night was difficult, and I hope that tonight can be truly a celebration. I know we're going to talk about important issues because this community does address important issues, and that's one of the beautiful things about this community, is that we can face that and we can own up to it. But for those out watching, and for those who have been on juries before, and this game does a lot with your emotions and puts you in a certain place. And I just want to reiterate on behalf of myself, and I know all the jury feels this way, on how damn hard it was to make the decision and to play the game, and how much respect and love there is for all three members of this game. And I would have happily voted for all three of them if I could. And in the end, in like a really close call, I just thought that everyone played a hell of a social game. And to me, the idea of Jerry having the target on his back the whole time weighed out a little bit more to be able to eke that out. So to navigate that was the ultimate tiebreaker. But I was so impressed with everybody last night and throughout the entire game.
Thank you, Ben. So Shannon, you were the other person besides Carter who asked for me to come circle back to get your vote. Who were you wavering between in deciding who you were going to vote for?
I think it was pretty clear after my speech that I was between Cam and Jerry. And again, Charlotte, I adore you, and I think that you played an awesome game. And I told you where I was at with it. And for me, the vote last night was really, really difficult. I was weighing basically my head and my heart, because I've been with Cam this whole game since day one, and I truly thought he played an amazing game. But Jerry's like resume and the game that he played was just felt so like factually undeniable to me that I think the Survivor fan in me that respects the game so much like had to cast the vote last night instead of like my personal like friendship side of me, if that makes sense. So I did vote for Jerry last night.
Okay. And then, of course, Erin, I have to ask, was there any way you would never vote for Jerry last night?
I think if Jerry didn't play a game worth a vote, I wouldn't have voted for him, but like he's undeniable. And like that's why we love Jerry so much, you know? He's great at this game.
Okay, Cam, I want to ask you if it had been, well, I'll ask Charlotte first. Charlotte, if it had been between Cam and Jerry, who would you have voted for?
I absolutely would have not answered the question and we would have never had a winner.
Okay, then I'm just not going to ask the other two. That's fine. That's warranted. I am going to now just kind of move us into regular reunion questions. The first question I want to know is, by show of hands, how many of you actually thought that Corey was playing this season when his video turned on with all of you? And by show of hands, how many of you wished he had played instead of devising all the clues that he did that were so impossible for anyone to understand? Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the vibe. Britt, you are such a lover of this game and you won season 2 and I knew you wanted to come back and play All-Stars. Who were you most surprised to see or excited to play with when you saw how many people and who was playing this season?
I was really shocked that there was so many season 1 players, and there was more season 1 than season 2, which wasn't as surprising to me because I think season 2 was a lot. And if I'm being completely honest, I was most excited to see Ben again and to get a chance to talk to him. And then I never had that chance. But I kept telling people, like, I don't know if he would play with me, but I was just so excited to be in this experience with him again because I did have fun with him the first time, even though like I voted him out. But all the people that played, I loved all of them. And I just wish I had more time to talk to all of them. And I never got to be on a tribe with Carter, and everyone was like asking me about him, and then we never had a chance. So it was like Sequester 2.0.
Dad, who are you most excited to see or play with? You've watched all the seasons, and I will actually spoil this before you even get the chance to say he was most excited to play with Jake, who did not play All-Stars whatsoever, but he thought would be playing. But Dad, how are you feeling when you saw everyone who was playing? And I think you really didn't know how many season 1 people were playing either.
No, I was pretty surprised. And yeah, I was looking forward to hanging out with Jake a little bit more. But I was really pleased to see a lot of the good players, the players that really played well and tried hard and did well, like Jerry and Cam and Jody and Gray, but it was a lot of fun to see Ben, Sophie, and Hilly back too. A lot of deja vu. So I kept Dylan up to speed throughout the whole season to kind of twist him into maybe thinking about coming back as well.
You did try to get Dylan to play, and unfortunately he was not able to. So Jody, another thing people were very curious about is we had so many season 4 players, but it was like essentially Royals, like a repeat of Royals. So how did you feel seeing like, cool, there's so many season 4 people, but it's so many people who I was really not on a team with?
Yeah, it was like, oh, it's great seeing all these familiar faces, but I essentially only worked with Tommy successfully, and like Tommy went home first. I was like, okay, cool. And then we all know Shannon and I's history, and we were the only 2 people on original TBD. But I will say it was fun to be able to work with Shannon this time. And like, I was happy we were able to have that arc.
You say that now, wait until I show a video later. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so one of the alliances that we always wanted to see but never happened, and a player that actually you guys all thought went home really early but kept playing the game for most of it, was Vic. Vic continued to send us confessionals all throughout the season. So I'm going to play this gorgeous little compilation that we have of Vic. Let me see, share my sound. Now let me find where this is.
I like Keith. I like Keith. He's a dad. I have a dad. I love my dad. I think we can maybe bond over that. I'm hoping we can. I'm gonna do whatever he says. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I lose. I will protect Keith at all costs. And I mean that. I want to cause some chaos. I want to cause some trouble. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm really looking forward to figuring it out.
I'm out of the game, and that's just a fact. I can sit and I can wallow about it, or I can be happy for what I do have. I have a title, which is shortest amount of time spent in the game in 2 seasons, which, I don't know, I think is pretty cool. I feel pretty proud of that. Look, I was backstabbed by Keith, my ally, and did that sting a little? Absolutely. I think maybe it would have been advantageous to my game to tell Keith he was my ally, and that we were, in fact, allies to each other. I used all my Zoom tokens. Was that a little bit aggressive? Yeah. Would I do it again? Probably not. But it's what I did, and I wouldn't change it for the world unless I could go back and change it, in which case I would.
So as you all know, I am still in the game. I'm still on an island. I'm just a different island than some of the other players. Everybody on this island is very mad, very angry most of the time, which is good. I mean, I think that plays into my game. I just gotta figure out how to get back to that other island. Keith, if you can hear this, if you can feel this in your heart, I'm coming back for you. Today's a good day.
Okay, so I just thought I'd read this to you guys because I've been reading over the screenshot that I took, and I just I don't understand it, and I'm just hoping maybe somebody out there would. First night, Keith, hey, I was so excited to be put on a team with you. I love my dad. He's my absolute best friend. And seeing you and Kelsey together, I think that you guys also might be best friends. Keith wrote, yeah, a father-daughter relationship is a beautiful thing. Next day. Hey Keith, good morning. Guess I overslept. Haha. How's your day going? Who are you talking to? What are you thinking? Keith wrote, good morning. This guy's impossible to read, and I don't know what to do, but I know when I get back into the game, I'm gonna gun straight for him, and I'm gonna find out.
We got this challenge coming up at some point here where, you know, we're gonna get to try and battle back in, and I've decided I'm just gonna claim that I won. No matter what happens, I'm just gonna say that I won, and I'm not really gonna let up. I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve in that department. I just I haven't seen or heard from Keith in weeks here, and I want it to be us. I want it to be us at the end so badly. It's just it's something that I dreamed about and I talked about, not to him because he didn't know that we were allies, but I had talked about it to myself quite a lot, and I had a lot of plans to tell him about it. I just want it to be us two at the end, so that I can stab him in the back.
Oh my God, incredible, incredible. Dad, did you know that you had an ally the whole time?
Well, I guess I didn't read that very well, did I? Good job, Vic. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. That looked more unhinged than I was expecting, all played back to back like that. And I would say I'm sorry, but I can't change it, so I won't apologize for who I am.
Okay, so genuine question to everyone who's on the big green, Vic being the first vote out, what happened? It was such a unanimous vote, but it seemed like such a blind side to Vic.
I would love to know, actually. That would also be my question.
Chris, what happened on the big green?
All right, well, here's where I was at. I just want to get through, right? You land on there. There's all these season 1 people. I've never talked to them. We've never seen this season. What is going on there? Then there's Vic and there's Molly. I knew they both had incredible momentum from my last time with them. And I just knew that the season 1 were coming for us first. And it was one of us. And I don't know. That's where I'm going to popcorn the next person who wants to fill in some blanks before I give all of it away.
I do think it'd be interesting for you to share what you shared in your goodbye, what yours and Chris's slacks look like on the big green.
Yes, sure. So on original Big Green, it was just like with the first 2 votes, everyone grabbed us and pulled us into chats. It was me, Chris Hilly, Ben, me, Chris, Keith, Carter, me, Chris, Vic, me, Chris. It was just everybody grabbing us and pulling us in, and we just felt so popular. It was so fun. But with that Vic vote, Keith came out the gate pretty early and was like, we can go Vic or blindside Carter. And so we were like, okay, whoa, Keith, all right. So we knew that there was a crack in season 1. So we wanted to like hold that just for one more vote. But Vic, I'm so sorry.
Molly, I forgive you. Chris, I forgive you. Keith,
I should apologize first. I'm so sorry, Vic.
No, I
I've not
forgive you.
apologized
I can
yet.
read it
I
on your
am so
face, and I do
sorry.
forgive you. Keith, you broke my heart.
I know. That was tough. Vic.
And I just don't really know where we go from here, I guess is my question.
We'll have to take this offline.
I still have my Zoom token saved for you.
I
was
have
the
one
very
left
first
too.
person-
I have one left too, so we can do 20 minutes.
Okay.
Gorgeous. Would love to facilitate after that. Okay, so I do want to talk about Team TBD, which was an insane team. Really, I think, to quote Charlotte from one of her confessionals, she walked in for her first date and saw all of her exes at the same restaurant, is really kind of what Team TBD felt like. Ryan, I want to begin with you. What did you feel when you saw everyone who was on Team TBD?
Okay, I remember like I was pretty like blackout when we were flipping the rocks, and I just remember being like, I hope I'm with someone fun like Joey this time. And I remember like going to flip and it got on red and I was like, okay, cool, I'm on red. I love red. Like what's my team? And like I did, like I saw Jerry, I saw Charlotte, I saw Cam, and I was like, there's no, okay. I remember thinking, I'm no longer playing to win. I'm just playing to survive this team.
Truly felt like an insane team. Jerry, how did you feel when you saw not only your team, but also that Erin was playing All-Stars, but far away?
When Erin turned on her camera, I was like, oh shit. I love you, Erin. Erin, I love you. I freaking love you, dude. But it was like, ooh, and TBD we were too stacked for our own good. Honestly, it was absolutely chaos. And I don't know, like I freaking hold my, I was very optimistic, I think, and I think too optimistic. But you know, we survived. A few of us survived. Who would have thought?
So Carter, the Big Green was so many season 1 people. It's almost also kind of like hard to believe and wrap your mind around. And you won season 1. Was there any maneuverability ever on that team, or would the only way for you to have survived if your team kept winning and never had to go to banishment until after some sort of swap?
You know, that's the question that I did not find the answer to. I obviously struggled. I was going into this, I knew I was not going to win. Like I was the only producer playing a winner. And I like had this mentality of that I was gonna like, you know, just try my best, just try and survive every vote and go out swinging. But once it finally happened, I was so scared that like, I just don't want to be the first out, that I think I was more tepid than I should have been. And like, I didn't make strong alliances as quickly as I needed to. I don't know if I ever would have gotten off that team, especially because me and Keith had each other's numbers from the beginning. What do you do?
Fair. So Erin, you know, I think really like you're an incredible player, and you and I spoke about it. I felt like I watched it happen in Sequester, and then I watched it happen this season. You are a winner with an incredible social game who is able to reduce their threat in a way that is mind-boggling. How long it feels like people only really started to view you as a threat once you and Jerry were together. Do you feel that was it?
Yeah, I think I was on people's radars, but me and Jerry being apart for the first part of the game felt crucial for me for sure. Just because like I could be like, I'm here, like I want to find my people like I always do, and yeah, yes. Is that the answer?
Yes, Sophie?
I would just like to say that I know there's a lot of Jaren talk and clumping them together and stuff, but Erin is a crazy badass, and I think everyone would be lying if they didn't say they were threatened or intimidated or felt like she could take this whole thing by herself. So
100%.
That's her.
Yeah, Nicholas?
Yeah, I want to second that. As someone who was on the wrong side of it early on in this game and went home because of it, Erin, like the second I saw what you and Deanna did with that Tommy vote, I knew, I was like, that's a dangerous woman in this game. And I tried so hard to get Joey and Sophie to like not be on board with you. And you were just too good. You got people on your side. Was so impressed with that. You were such a threat, such a threat.
Thank you, Nick. That means absolutely the world coming from you. I absolutely went crazy at that banishment, thinking of all of the times you blew up and how fun that was to watch. Oh, inspiration.
So, Joey, I want to spend a little time with you because I think that a narrative that really didn't fully develop this season, but we should discuss is pre-gaming and the fact that you are friends with probably everyone who played this season, and whether you want to call it pre-gaming or not, I feel that there was some squeaking of wheels ahead of time.
Yes. Yes, totally. I mean, I guess I'll go for also I was thinking about this last night. The only person I feel like Jody and I had like a very like straight up like an all like conversation like ahead of time just to make sure that like we put our like past aside from like our season. So Jody knew that I was like, I was like, oh, I don't want to be in a situation where Jody thinks that like I'm gonna have a vendetta. So it's like I want to like put our past aside. The rest of it, I just thought that I was just keeping in touch with my friends and like hanging out and like talking to people. Like I didn't want to like, it just was like, oh, just keeping stuff like ready and just like keeping in touch with people, but definitely got the narrative that I was like building alliances and was like, this person will work with this person as opposed to keeping in touch with people. So
it's that lifelong social game.
Yeah, Joey, you are also an incredible social threat. And I also want to give due credit to Gray, which I think was one of the biggest game moves of this season, was moving from the bottom of the original foursome of Lala to flip on Joey and get that out. Gray, can you maybe talk a little bit about like what went into making that move happen?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Joey, I'm very sorry. As the only other person I think on this season that has experienced that side of a blind side, I know how terrible it feels. I had been thinking about it like 2 days prior and was basically just trying to find the right time frame, because I felt like this season, in my previous season, I came in so like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and was only kind of paying attention to the people that were talking to me. But this season, immediately when I was on the wrong side of the vote, the information that I wasn't receiving was just as valuable to me as the information I was receiving. So it became very clear to me within the first 2 days of being on Lala that Sophie, Joey, Deanna, and Erin were in an alliance that I was not in. And then even when we got onto new TBD 2.0, that the three of them were still very tight and I was on the outs of that, and that they had already pulled in Hilly as a fourth and that I was still on the bottom. As much as they kind of were trying to tell me what was going on, I knew that when I would message them individually, not hear from them for 30 minutes and then get kind of the same response at the same time, I was like, okay, I need to do something because I don't want to be on the bottom. And so Britt, the day when she got voted out, had done a Zoom call like an hour before banishment. And I had already kind of been thinking about doing something with the new people on our team, but I felt like it wasn't the right time. And so the next day I kind of put in the work that I needed to do and orchestrated it, and was like really proud of myself, honestly, because I just was really sick of playing on the bottom and feeling like people weren't really listening to me. And I felt like I was the only one that could change my reality. And that's what I did.
And Gray, that was an incredible move. Something I'd love to point out is that actually people believed it was Ben's move first before they believed it was your move. It was 100% Gray's move, not Jody or Ben's. It was Gray's who did that. She did that herself. Okay, another person who seemed to have a lot of alliances and a lot of fun alliance names was Hilly. Hilly had Jilly, Billy, Silly, Gilly. I think you had a lot of one-on-one alliances that you were creating these names for duos. Hilly, oh, Dilly too. Thank you, Marissa. Hilly, what was kind of your plan with that? If I give it a fun name, then people will want to stay and think we have this one-on-one connection.
I think the original one was Joey and and it was honestly just like, oh, this is so natural, like Jilly. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you know, Ben and I are in alliance. We could be Billy. And then it kind of honestly naturally kept going. And I was like, Gray, I love her. Gray, we could be Gilly. And then I was like, Sophie, we could be so, like, it honestly became a game for me of like, this is so funny. Like, will they ever tell each other when it comes out? Who will know first? Will they all keep it secret? Like, this was our secret thing. And I mean, it totally just naturally grew. And then I did have a moment as I started really bonding with these people, like, oh, I hope they don't actually feel bad that like there are other side names, but it honestly started as a very pure, hey, you're super cool, maybe we should have a name and a line. And then it kind of just grew and I had so much fun with it. But Jilly, as soon as I voted Joey out, I was like, man, Jilly had a lot of potential. We had some plans to use our Zoom tokens and talk about some TV shows we were watching. I mean, that was our big plan. We were going to do like an hour Zoom of talking about the show we were binging and how horrible it was. So I won't say the name of the show, but I mean, I'm sorry Jilly ended so soon.
We also almost saw Jaren 2.0 with Joey and Aaron. Is that correct, Joey?
That was correct too. I thought that was so funny because Aaron was like, we should really work together. We should be an alliance. And I was like, and I just said, Aaron, I have a great name for the idea. It's going to be called, what if we put our names together? And it was like, it's Jaren. And was like, going to see if Aaron didn't think that, didn't know if I watched this show and like thought I actually came up with it, but Aaron handled it.
I thought it was hilarious. I was like, that's brilliant.
And then that's
what momentum. People love Jaren.
Humor. And I get it. I did like something similar to Hilly. It's like I tried to have like little alliances with everyone, but it was like really, and I get like what Gray's saying about like the feeling about it all. I just like loved everyone that I got put on the team with. And I was like, I do like everyone, like don't want anyone to go home. But then right, it's definitely like you have to realize you get to a place where someone's gonna have to go home and you have to figure out like where do you rank in those priorities.
Sure. So Britt and Carter, something I definitely want to talk to both of you about is, you know, you not only returned as winners of a previous season, but also when both of you played, you really had an ally through most of the game. Can either of you talk about how different this season was without really having that person to just even like talk through things and like, you know, game plan and brainstorm?
Britt, you can go.
Yeah, for sure. I came into this game and Ben was the only one from my season and we were not on the same team. And a lot of other people that were playing had played together, and especially being thrown into the OG TBD that had all of the drama in it from past seasons. I tried to kind of find where I could fit in, but I never really had like someone that I felt as closely to as I had with Maddie on season 2, because I was working with people really well. I did genuinely love everyone on OG TBD, but I never had that same feeling. And so I mentioned this in my QI goodbye, but when the swap happened on season 2, that's when Maddie and I really bonded because we worked together and we both had advantages. So it really helped solidify our alliance at that point. And like, Jody, I love you so much, but like we just were stuck with nothing. And so it was really hard for me this time around because I never had that connection that I had the first time. And my biggest fear going into the season was people wouldn't want to play with me. And you try not to take it personally, but it is really hard when like that's the narrative that's in your head and then you feel like that's becoming a reality. And so that was difficult. But then after I got voted out, I had some time to think about it. And I am proud that I had only one real number one, and it was Maddie, because I love him very much. And I realized that that's a very special place for me. And when Molly did her goodbye message, it really kind of changed my perspective of the season for me for All Stars, because I had my season, I had my full experience. I've made so many great friends through this community, and I didn't need All Stars to give me that because I already had everything I needed. And I'm so glad that people this season got to have a full experience and can feel as connected to the community as I do. So that's my story.
Carter, top that. Nope. Nope. Nope.
I'm trying this, like, I have my phone up here because
Yeah.
it's high quality, and then it's just a whole mess. So I don't think I can top that, is what I was saying. That was lovely, Britt. It's just not as fun to not have a number one. You know, this game is so all consuming. Like, I was talking to my dad this afternoon, trying to like catch him up briefly about the game. And it's just like, what do you even say? Like, I don't know, this has consumed my life for 3 weeks, and like, it's just really hard to describe. And so to not have someone to experience it with and bounce ideas off with, it's not as fun. But I was talking to Carb Ferg about this, and she pointed out that, you know, now I feel like I had the full experience. I won a season. I was an early boot. I was a battle back. I was a merge boot. I was on the jury. And I'm very grateful to be able to experience all those aspects of the game, good and bad, to be able to get a full picture of the roller coaster that this game can be.
Totally. I love hearing that. Another thing I want to talk about is advantages and idols in this game. A lot of fun, different things I want to talk about relating to them. The first being Cam. I don't know if you actually know, but technically you beat Jerry to that first idol. You just never slacked me the correct answer. And you're nodding, so you figured that out?
I had my suspicions. And I even told Jerry once, I was like, I have this terrible conspiracy theory about what happened with that first idol. But yeah, I think that
it ended up working out for you.
Ultimately, it ended up working out. Yeah.
Sure. Another one I want to talk about is for the advantages. So Shannon was the first for all three teams to get to the advantage and got that first of the 3-bottle advantage, which Shannon, you were the first to get it, but no one on TBD seemed to suspect that you had it. Everyone seemed to think someone else had it, which is fun because also you were the first to get it in your season, but this like narrative of you finding advantages didn't seem to follow you into All Stars.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Jody might have actually helped me hide it without him realizing that I actually had it, because in every single banishment, he was like, well, if Shannon had it, she would have told me and I would have told everyone else. But yeah, I actually told Ryan right away. Like we were like working on it together and I told him like in the moment. So Ryan did know that I had it, and sounds like he didn't tell anyone else. So that's good. And I think after the scavenger hunt, things like really started to get wild because people saw that someone had passed it and nobody could figure out like who it was. And I had passed it to Ryan and he gave it back to me. And when I told Cam later on in the season that had happened, he was like, I suspected like every other combo of people in the tribe to have passed it except for you and Ryan. He was like, could have been you and Jody, could have been Jody and Brett, could have been like anybody, but not you two. So I'm like, it was fun, and I'm sad that Ryan went so soon because nobody suspected that we were close. And
I remember feeling very surprised when you transferred to Ryan. I had no idea, and I was like, this is fun that Jody doesn't know.
You asked me, Kelsey, you were like, why didn't you give it to Jody? And I was like, why on earth would I give it to Jody after last season?
Okay, so another advantage thing I want to talk about, which like also dovetails to what Britt was saying. Molly, we really didn't get to see you play in your season that much. And I'm so glad we got to see you really fucking play this season and play the shit out of it. But I have to ask you, you are the only person of all the scavenger hunts who did not return the advantage back to the original owner. Chris gave you his advantage. Why did you not return it? You then gave it to Ben. It kind of was the little advantage that the sisterhood of the traveling advantage. Why did you not return it?
Okay, first of all, you need to keep in mind a couple things. I had been on isolation the whole day. I did not know what was happening. I was convinced, like, another reason to vote out Carter was Carter got the advantage. Carter was a producer. He knows where these clues are. And Chris, who I shared literally everything with at that point, Chris, I was like, if Chris had it, he would tell me. And so, like, he gave it to me like 30 minutes before banishment. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And then I'm pretty sure, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I tried to give it back to you. And then as I don't know, Chris, you can respond.
Yeah. Personally, Molly kind of pointed out where the clue was to me, that it like had dropped. I had figured it out, and then I went through the whole thing of like, do you tell someone what it is? Like, this is your first, all this and other stuff. And like, by the time that the clue dropped, like I had told her I hadn't gotten it, and then like I found out I got it. I forgot the question. But what happened was, I remember now, I gave it to Molly and I was like, I'm not going to ask for this back. You know, she led me to it. If she wants to use it, like, she deserves it too. We're working together. It felt very like reciprocal. And then I heard that Shannon got hers back from Ryan. And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. That's fun. But I was still like, Molly and I always talked about it like it was just our own. But then Ben got it. So
well, I think it's worth mentioning also, Molly, I think you should share how many people you offered the advantage to during the merge purge. I don't know how many of the fans know this, how many of the producers even know this, but there was a lot of attempt to, and listen, I voted Molly back into the merge purge. I wanted it to happen, but that was a bribery tool that did not work.
It did not work. I also want to back up and say, because I had just come back from isolation, and during that first banishment, the Brit and Ryan and Jerry, I think that was that night. Correct me if I'm wrong. But on that night, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone can see the sheet. And so And so because everyone can see the sheet, the rest of my team, like the other people I'm aligned with, Ben and Hilly, are gonna see that it was exchanged. Like, Ben's gonna do all this math and figure out Chris has it. I was like, I have to come clean to Ben. So right before that, so Ben knew about it. Then on purge day, I am desperate for that third vote. I know Gray's got a third locked in. I am desperate. So my first offer was to Sophie, and then it was Charlotte, respond. I want to give you something. Charlotte would have gotten it, but she didn't slack me back in time. So I said, Ben, just take it. If I'm out, I'm out.
Very fair. So the other person who did give the advantage back is Joey had it, gave it to Deanna. Deanna returned it. Deanna had herself a party at the isolation station. It was actually quite fun to see her and Molly interacting that day. Deanna, you are also another player who I think we didn't get to fully see you stretch your game muscles in your season, and we really got to see that this season. Can you talk a little bit about how you wanted to come into this season and maybe play a little differently?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I like fully played differently. I just think I wasn't given the chance to really do it the first time around. I'm obviously a clinger, so within the first night I clung on to Joey and Aaron, and they heard every single one of my thoughts. Like, every time they would come in, I would just like, and it was so annoying because I had to separately tell them. I couldn't just put them in a group chat because I was like, let me separate them from me for a second. But yeah, it was so fun to be able to just have two people that not only I felt like I could trust the entire time, but just to like have fun talking to them. Aaron and Joey were so great. And then we got to talk to Sophie and Loop Curran, and we were a great group of four. So it was really fun. And I felt like Joey and I would always talk like, how great did this work out that we were on a team together? We're having so much fun. We're working so well together. This is too good to be true. And in the back of my head, I knew it was too good to be true because I was like, I know I'm not communicating well with the rest of the people on my team. I knew that I wasn't communicating well with Gray. Like, I was trying to work hard at it, but I'm bad at that. So I knew at some point that a flip was going to happen and that it made sense for it to happen, but like, I didn't know how to avoid it. So truly, it was just so much fun to get to feel like I was on top of the world and then knocked right out.
Also, you look absolutely stunning tonight, Deanna.
Thank you.
Deanna is also another person that I would just love to shout out. Deanna, you're 23?
I am 23, yes.
Insane, you and Jerry 23. It boggles the mind. It's incredible. Yeah, we get it, Jerry. You're zillennials. Cool.
Yeah, I love that you
Angela,
shouted that out,
help.
Jerry.
Joined by Deanna.
Okay, so the other really fun thing was this season we had all these random red herring channels that didn't lead to anything. Some of you knew, some of you didn't. One of the more interesting things that happened was the quarantine decided to change their pictures, add their own channels, put different links to kind of mess with things. And I had so many players still in the game reaching out to me with guesses, which was insane and fascinating. Ryan, you were on the quarantine. Can you talk to us a little bit about like why do that and sort of like what the thinking was in making that happen?
I think it was Nick who proposed the hey, let's okay, so this is like in my head like how we got there. I posted a really genuine, dumb, funny bit because I'm on a quarantine island like by myself with these people, and I posted in one of the channels, right? Like a dumb little bit about how I've like been living there forever. And then like Cam posted and Chris posted and Britt reached out and I was like, oh, they really care about me. They like care, they're like checking in. Like they post little coconut emojis and Britt posted like a link. And then we got yelled at by producers that we're not allowed to do that because the players thought they were answering the riddle. And I was like, those son of a bitches, those little, and then Nick came in and like made this cool like graphic. And then we were all like, can we just do like, that's how we'll cause chaos from the edge. It was very funny. Cardferg was like, you're allowed to do this, but you're not allowed to do this. But you're allowed to do this.
We had to put in parameters. We realized people were pushing the boundaries, which we love, but we were like, okay, we got to like figure out what they can and cannot do. Nick, did you have fun doing that from the quarantine, still kind of influencing the game?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't get a chance to do the big Nick energy stuff, so I had to find a way to kind of inject it into the game. So I just was like, if there's anything that we can do to cause a little chaos and make people lose their minds, do it. Do it. And I'm so sorry again, Britt. Your last day, we made it hell. I didn't mean to do that.
Britt really was coming to me with all the binary, like all sorts of random numbers of things. But a person it really messed with, which Cam, I've got to blow up your spot, was so for the scavenger hunt, y'all had to put like in public channels, like who's the best player, who's the best alliance, who's the hottest and all this stuff. So Cam thought one of y'all clues was he had to tell us that he was the hottest player of All Stars. And then we had it on record and really just all the producers continued to roast Cam and we said we're going to make calendars. Corey came up with the phrase Camlenders. It's just Corey posing for each month of the year. Corey or Cam, do you want to talk to us about that at all?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was Ryan's message that he sent. And it was something like, it was like I was confused about whether it was a clue or whether he was coming for me because people had just written that I was the hottest in the challenge. And it was like, send me the hottest one like that you have. And I was like, oh my God, why is Ryan coming for me? Like I was working with him. I feel so weird. And then I was like, maybe it's a clue. I don't know. I'll send Kelsey the hottest person. And it clearly was incorrect.
Oh boy, but we had so much fun with you sending that. Another time we really, really laughed, which Carby, if you have this queued up, we want to show the wheel ceremony from Team TBD. You guys had a stressful team, but it was one moment that just felt really fun and was a joy. Carby, if you have it, let me know if you can play it.
Okay. So nervous.
I know.
The stakes have never been higher.
Okay, so here we all are. You want me to just go for it?
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so you spin it and then that one's eliminated unless somebody wants to use their veto power.
Right.
I like the veto powers. It keeps it fun.
But you only get one veto power, right?
Okay, so use it wisely.
Okay, clicking.
Oh my gosh. 4 Zoom tokens later, we missed the banishment we're supposed to watch.
Yeah.
We use all of our tokens.
Oh no.
We lost Mater.
What is
Or one
shame?
out for Mater.
Anybody?
Any vetoes?
Speak now.
This is like on Voice when the judges can like
Shut.
choose if they want to like steal someone, you know?
Okay, there's 10 minutes of this, so I'm gonna skip around.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it really picks
Yeah.
up right around.
The wheel has spoken.
I'll save her.
Oh, Jerry, right?
She
at the last
deserves a
second.
third chance. We all deserve a third chance.
I agree.
Okay, I do feel like it's important to note that by this point, 3 people had used their veto to save the name TBD. That's where we are in the story.
Get it
Are you
again
and I
right
the
now.
only? Have you used yours yet?
I honestly have been not using. I haven't been using my veto because I feel like fate means a lot to me, but but I could offer my veto up if we wanted to do it for TBD. Okay, I'm gonna veto here.
As someone who is a fan of chaos,
We're
I
gonna
love
get
that.
stuck with the silver snakes. I know it.
I know we are. We are.
That's so
We're gonna
true.
be the fucking silver snakes.
Oh,
Wait.
I'm
Cam.
gonna veto it. I'm gonna veto this one.
Good. Yeah.
As the wheel creator, do you have unlimited veto powers?
It depends on whether we all realize that we hate certain
Okay,
names.
good.
All right, yeah. That one out.
Thank God.
Get it out? Okay, do we?
Has never been chosen.
That's right.
Oh,
So close.
first.
Oh my God, TBD. You guys could not come up with your name to save your life. Shannon, can you tell us, well, you're laughing, but can you tell us some of the names that were on the wheel for those who did not get a chance to see?
Okay, obviously we saw TBD, we saw Verse. I think we had like Arby's was really in contention for a while. We really liked the Red spelled R-E-A-D team because we were planning on never speaking it aloud and we weren't gonna say whether it was read or red. I think that would have been a good one. We had I think team was one. I don't know. Anybody jump in and if I'm forgetting some of
You
that.
always think you're gonna owe money, not that
Didn't you guys have didn't you guys have Alan just randomly?
Oh, that was because Cam made a spinning wheel emoji, and when it stopped and said what the answer was at the end, it was Alan, and so we like really latched on to Alan for a while.
Ryan, how many people on Team TBD do you think vetoed to keep the name TBD in?
Everyone but me. I hated it because here's the thing. I burned my veto early. Hello. Why? Like because if I would have saved it, our team would have been named Verse, and that's.
So incredible. Okay, so I was just going to take us into the scavenger hunt video. We made a little fun compilation, and then Truly was just going to go into my thank yous. I am open to having discussions if we wanted to, but I also know that we've been put through the ringer of all stars, and so I'm also willing to just kind of let things be, and we can have our own discussions. But I also want to make sure that this is a space, like if people want to discuss things, I hope tonight I've definitely highlighted some of the female players so that you all saw. I think all of them played phenomenal games. Like none of you women could ever have been called a GOAT in this game or anything like that and played. But actually, I lied. We are gonna talk about it. I decided I want to. But something that I thought was really interesting that I wanted to talk about with Sophie. Sophie, you and Ben had this really fascinating Zoom after the gray vote out where Ben kind of came to you and was like, I did this thing, we can trust each other, we should work together. Can we talk about that Zoom a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, because I think everybody knows, but Ben is my brother-in-law. So we can have really good and honest conversations, and anything that like I talk about with him is in a real life level. So I think that conversation was a little bit more real, but I think the point of it was he was like, look, I made this move for us and like I did it. And I was like, I wasn't part of that. And I want to play beside you and not behind you. And like that is like how you build alliances and stuff. And so like I think we kind of like talked a little bit about it, and I don't know if we fully like talk through it, but that was kind of the sentiment of, I think, that conversation.
Ben, I remember you feeling very excited to have that Zoom with Sophie, and then after there was like a little bit of processing. Do you want to talk about that Zoom at all?
Yeah, sure. No, I thought that was a great Zoom, and I really appreciate Sophie. I think it was a very complicated 2 seasons that the two of us played together. Most people know here, but the short story is that Sophie led a blindside against me season 1. And I think it led to us becoming closer outside the game, which is beautiful. And I always wanted to play with Sophie, but we kept being put in positions where we just weren't in the same part of the numbers. And I had a lot of trouble getting over, not emotionally over the season 1, but strategically over the season 1 blindside. Like, she's saying, let's work together, but do I know if it's true? And I tried to do something to inch myself closer to Sophie, which she very legitimately called out as like not being a partner move. And I'm very glad that she called me out for it. And I
did the same thing to you. And
no,
turned around
but
and
no,
did
it was
that.
good.
So
I
it
heard
was,
it, and then we finally worked together for a few votes, which was awesome. And then she left me out, and it was all good.
Sure. So, kind of like why I had brought it up last night is, you know, I've been doing 5 seasons of this now, 9 months of my life. And it's been really interesting to see both in this sort of like microcosm, and then also, as many of you are fans of like the Real Survivor game. And I think Sarah had like kind of that conversation with Probst and Winners at War, but there is a lot of gender dynamics often at play. And I feel that I've seen it every season where women have a much smaller margin for what they're able to get away with, and they're held accountable far more than some of the men who play in the game for various moves, or they're caught out earlier of just like, oh, they're doing this, we have to get that woman out, as opposed to when the men are doing it, it's like, oh, well, like they're playing a game, that sort of thing. Nicholas, someone who's always willing to engage with me, we spoke a little bit about this. Can I ask for your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say first that I'm a dude, so I don't think my opinions are above women's speaking on this.
Sorry, I'm not like implying that Nick is the end all be all of the conversation, just someone who like we engaged with this.
Right. Well, I think I told you, and like you kind of just said it, was like, I think that men can get away with more, and women are more likely to be held accountable for things in the game. We've seen it in the CBS show. I've seen it in QI. I've seen it in other games I've played. And I think that it's a gray area, because I do think that there are points to be made. Like, if you want to hold someone accountable for their moves, that's fair. But I think we all have to like sit and ask ourselves, like, is there a bias at play in the way we're thinking? Because we all grew up in a world that is inherently sexist, inherently like racist, inherently like values masculine qualities over the feminine. And whether we think we can escape it or not, it's in our decision making, and we have to confront it, and we have to think if that's coming into the play with, you know, even something as silly as a game and our decision on who we're going to think should win the game. And I think it's a good discussion to have.
Yeah, I also like when I was thinking about it last night of just like people who I've seen in the Final Banishment and just how sometimes they can be treated differently. At first I was like, wait, did that not happen season 2? And then I remembered my brother's horrible speech that he made at the Final Banishment, and made it seem like for Britt and Maddie, who played their butts off, and for Britt, who won the whole game, that it was a game of chance and luck and people making poor decisions. But Britt, how many idols did you find your season, and how many advantages?
I had 2 idols, 1 advantage. And I mean, just to go off of that, I don't think it's because of what Dylan said that made me think this way, but I did constantly think, even when those moves happened, that I don't deserve this win because I just benefited off of someone else's like shortcomings, and I found a way to make that work to my advantage. And it wasn't actually anything I did. It was things happened that I wanted to happen, but I didn't make them happen. And it was just subconsciously something that was occurring. And so that was hard for me after I won, was just feeling like I actually was deserving of my win. And it wasn't necessarily because of the feedback I was getting. It was just more of like an internalized thing. And then that did support that. So you know how mental health works.
I do, yes. And I think anyone who watched season 2 knows that you absolutely deserved that win so much. It is insane how you played that game. It was so well deserved. But I think there can be this, as you said, like this questioning of like, did I deserve this thing? Was that right? Aaron, you spoke a little bit at the beginning of this season where you said you cited Jerry, you know, and him not being in the final, or like him kind of pulling you along. And we kind of spoke about it earlier tonight, but you're actually a very, very incredible player. Did you feel after the fact that your win, like how did you feel processing that?
Yeah, it was complicated. It was complicated. Because obviously Jerry is an incredible player. And I think there's just like that inherent thing. And we see it in, like we've been saying, the game of Survivor, and we see it here. It's just like, perhaps like my strengths and like the things that make my game so good are just like inherently more feminine. They're not as like macho and obvious, or like maybe not as flashy, but they're like, you know, swift and soft, and I'll sweet talk you and make you my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, so I think I was really, this season for me really like solidified those things that did make my game so strong in the third season. Like it helped me feel more confident in the game that I played, and like understanding that I didn't just like have a great alliance member, which I did, but like to be able to build something so pure and like structurally sound with someone is like a huge value. And like makes me a great player.
And Jerry, I think you would attest to you and Aaron truly were a partnership working through all of that, and that Aaron did deserve her win completely.
Oh yeah, I've never discounted it. I've never said that I
No,
carried
it was you,
Aaron.
Jerry. I heard it was you. It was you doing it.
I've never said that I've carried Aaron until the end. She's amazing in her own right. She blazes her own trail. Like I saw it happening before my eyes, and I was like, I need her on my team. I need to work with her because she is gonna absolutely crush. So yeah, I mean, she's amazing.
Beautiful partnership. Deanna, I don't mean to put you on the spot. You and I have also been talking about this. At one point, there was any Real Housewives of Potomac fans, we were going to bring out a Monique binder. That probably resonates with only like 5 of you, but we enjoy it. It resonates for Aaron. We love that. Deanna, I think you are someone also who, like, you and Jake had a really wonderful partnership, but there was a lot attributed to Jake and not to you during your season. Whereas I feel this season, it was a more, and I love Jake. Jake is a hero and a gem, and we love him. But do you feel that there was more credit maybe given to you this time around this season with people watching you play?
I think there was, and I think that's because I felt more comfortable working with both Aaron and Joey and Sophie, because I felt more comfortable with them as people. Something that I caught myself doing a lot this season was talking very formally over Slack, because I thought that's how people like will take me seriously, but obviously I'm not that person. I'm not formal at all in any of my conversations. And I think that's because, like, as women, we have to work harder to be taken seriously, and that's just something that's so ingrained into like me as a person navigating anything in my life. So it was kind of interesting to see, like, I would talk to Aaron and Joey and Sophie, and I would just be like, hey, like, what's up? And then I would like talk to Ben after the swap, and then I just found myself being like, this is what I think, and this is so, like, just talking so formally. I was like, why am I speaking like this? Why do I feel like I need to change who I am to talk to like not just like men, but like people I feel less comfortable talking to, you know. But it wasn't like it wasn't a him thing. It was like a me, just like the way that I function in this world and how being a woman has led me to believe that I need to talk to certain people.
Sure. So, Gray, something that you and I have talked about many times is our gut feelings and our gut intuitions. And I feel that you've now experienced that your original season and this season. Are you coming out of this game, I hope, like feeling that you have that correct intuition and trusting that a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've said it like so many times this season, but my season, I knew what my gut was telling me, but I was too scared. Or even if I did tell the people that I was working with what I was feeling, it was just met with like, well, this is a game and like, it's going to be fine, even though I kind of like knew what was happening. And I feel like this season I got the confidence in myself enough to listen to what my gut was telling me and then make the moves that I needed to make because of that. And I think like something that goes along with that I think everyone experiences in this game is feeling like underestimated. I know I underestimate myself constantly, like not just in this game, but in my work environment, in a social environment, anywhere I go. And I think that's amplified in a situation like this. And then feeling like everyone else around you is underestimating you. And so I feel like this season, hopefully for everyone, has been a nice time for some personal growth and to just really like listen to yourself and what you want and go after that.
Charlotte, do we want to, we don't have to, is there anything you want to say about this? Totally fine. If not, just want to open the door to engage if you'd like.
Down to do whatever people feel good about with regard to like just sexism in general, like in this game, or what aspect of this whole thing. I guess I'll just say like very down to like discuss whatever we want to talk about. I'm like very proud of like the people who like I've seen those games, and like Gray, what I said to you last night was very sincere. Like I've been afraid of you in this game because I know that you're an incredible player. Like Aaron, what I said to you at your final banishment is very sincere. Like I think that you undervalue yourself, and I'm glad that you're having that experience. Like Britt, you played an amazing game. So I'm just glad that people are like having those journeys and feeling better about that. In terms of like my personal game, I think that like there is absolutely an element of like a double standard that happened. I also think that like there's a lot of room for like people on the jury to feel what they felt from my game. And clearly like jury management is an important part of the game that I like clearly did not do a good job about. I think there's also like clearly an element of like the way that I communicate with people where they feel that I tried to take responsibility for this yesterday and will continue to try to, which is like, I think that when I communicate with people, like how they feel about how I feel about them sometimes is different than how I think I'm feeling about them. So that's clearly like something. I do think that like potentially some of the ways that like people talked to me last night wasn't like always, maybe that wouldn't have happened if it was a different person up there, but maybe that's not true either. Maybe like there would have been more people willing to like unmute and be like, hey, maybe this point has been made, or maybe this person who's like crying could have a break. Like I think maybe there was room for some of that, and maybe there wasn't, and I also understand that. But like in terms of like my specific game and the double standard, I think that there are elements of that at play, but I also think there's a lot of other things as well that factored in. So I wouldn't say that like the only reason why like things happened last night was because of a double standard. I don't think that would be accurate.
Yes, I agree. And I'm not meaning to imply that that was, and I hope that I cleared that up with my.
Totally. I wasn't trying to imply that that's what you were saying. I just wanted to encompass all of my thoughts on that.
Yes. And I just wanted to echo back like after my own self-reflection and stuff, and just like, I don't want to minimize anyone's experiences in this game. But I also just, you know, I think as we've heard tonight from a lot of players, there is stuff at work that we, you know, try to combat each season, or that we're trying to work through. Chris, did you want to say something? It looks like you do, and I don't want to stop.
I unmuted because I do think that I did that last night, and I think I might have spoken in a way that after the statement was made and I had time to reflect, I feel like it is something that I'm taking very personally, that it was pointed out to me, and I've always said I want to learn from this game. So I want to apologize for inserting myself in conversations at points, which I know I do, and I'm learning that I do. And I think that it was the tone and all of that was unwarranted in a way that I'm glad it was pointed out to me, and I am taking that personally. So I just wanted to apologize for that and validate that as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And also, like, I'm not trying to make it like, I think that there are hurt feelings on all sides. So it's like not only my hurt feelings, like, I think it's complicated. And I think that like I think we'll all like keep thinking about it, maybe is like the best way to like end it. I don't think, yeah, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Nicholas, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I don't want to muddy the waters in regards to gender discussion, but I wanted to speak about my personal experience with both seasons. After season 4, I like struggled with a lot of like, I was triggered by certain things back from my past in like high school and friends, and stuff that I've been unpacking in therapy. And I have like a lot of issues with rejection. And this game, whether it's like so weird because when someone doesn't want to work with you or someone votes you out, it feels like a rejection. And I think it's really easy for us all to take that super personally. So when All Stars came around, I had like this like two mind thing going on. I wanted to play the game because I fucking love the game so much, but I already knew I was triggered and unpacking that in therapy, and I was worried about going back into All Stars with that. And the decision I made for myself was, I need to be okay with that. I need to be okay with someone not working with me, people lying to me, people manipulating me, and getting voted out. And I was like, Joey was my closest ally in season 4, and he didn't work with me, and he didn't tell me I was getting voted out. Sophie, said she was going to Zoom me, but it didn't happen. And I took it personally for like 5 minutes. And then I got over it, because this is a game and we're all adults and we all signed up for this game that had backstab in the tagline. And we have to own that. We all made that decision, and we have to be okay with allowing ourselves to be in the situation where we're going to get lied to. And that's kind of where I ended up ultimately with this whole journey. It was like, my accountability that I put myself in this situation, and it's okay.
Thank you for not telling everyone I paid you to play the game. I'm just kidding. Ben, did you have something you wanted to say? You had raised your hand before.
Yeah, I don't want to belabor the point. And I like where Nicholas summed it up, but I just wanted to publicly say that I really appreciated hearing what everyone has said over the last 15, 20 minutes. And one thing, Charlotte, and I'd love to talk to you more after this game. And I think, I have immense appreciation for you as a player and a person. And one thing I've been mulling over was the night that was referenced, when we were both feeling down for different reasons. And we both came into a Slack conversation saying, oh, I'm so sorry. And it took like a little while to realize that we were each projecting our own emotional difficulties of the evening on the other one. And I've just been thinking a lot about that night as sort of a microcosm for a lot of things that potentially happen in the game, because so much lives up here. And so for any time I've projected, and I know I have definitely with you, Shar, and with probably everyone here, something that was going on inside my own head as a thing that was happening communally or from someone else or whatnot. I apologize for that projection to each and every one of you. And I think that's something that happens a lot in the game and happens a lot in the life. And I know it's something that I'm working on, and I think we all are as people. So
I so appreciate genuinely that like we can have this conversation. Like, in what world do we ever get to do that? And I I feel really grateful and appreciative for all of you being willing to do that. I am going to go into our hilarious, incredible scavenger video. I'll wrap things up. So Carby, if you could please play this. And it is 6 minutes, I want everyone to know, but it's worth the 6 minutes.
Okay, your time starts now.
Mean Girls, can someone play this song?
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells ringing, jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun.
I just want to say that this is the first thing that I've eaten today, so. Does that work? Do I need to get more? There, is that what you want? Cool.
I just like smash it. Oh my god, was this one of the hard-boiled ones? Okay, take 2. This is a not hard-boiled egg this time. Oh! Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's so gross.
Here is a ghost, and here is my pepper. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy shit. This really sucks. Holy fuck.
If I were a boy, I think I would understand. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow. Oh my God, Vinny. We're gonna crash.
I'm as snug as a bug in a rug.
Thank you for calling your CVS Pharmacy. We offer flu shots. It's Devora. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm actually just still looking for some information. Can I go back on hold for a second?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I'll come back, whatever, okay?
Okay, thank you.
It's flu season. Get your flu shot today.
Stop right now. Thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch.
Oh yeah. Ah. Made it.
Beloved, we gather here to say our goodbyes. Here she lies, no one knew her worth. The late great daughter of Mother Earth. If anyone would like to say their closing remarks, now would be the time. Before I go throw her away forever.
Hey, Justin. I was just calling because, you know, we used to date and this might be kind of awkward, but I was just wondering, like, what went wrong back in high school?
Shannon, what went right?
Oh, like, okay.
Who will save your soul when you don't need it better now? But I to save your soul. My name is Jewel. I lived in a van in Alaska.
1,
So
2,
clever. So clever.
3.
I'm gonna do a round off back dance.
Oh my God.
All the girls at the party, look at that body, shaking that thing like you never did see that. Next pack is all right.
9,
2,
10.
Can I put this little face on your chin? On your face.
Oh God.
Okay.
No, it was Joey, because right after he told me that Brian was 7 feet 3 inches, and I said I didn't believe him.
This is slander. This is slander. And this will not stand. It is one thing to talk about me. It's a whole other thing to talk about my tall boyfriend, to bring my tall boyfriend into this.
Is he really 7'3"?
No, he's a regular sized tall man.
Oh. Merry Christmas, Marissa and Katie.
Oh my God, I did it!
It's for the quads.
You got this, Ben. You'll solve it now.
The quads are burning.
No, you got it. Feel the burn.
The quads are burning. The quads. If my quads fall off, I need you to take me to the hospital. Look, the quads. Soph's doing it with you in solidarity.
3. Chris, when is it due?
She's on it.
You got it, buddy. Woo! Is it done yet? Oi, is it done? Did you do it?
Oh, you've been done for a while, yeah.
Wow.
So fun. Ryan, the quarter on the head, so freaking clever. Just so clever.
You say that, but I don't know what you're I legitimately don't know how to start.
It meant like land on heads, like tails or heads. Sophie, also the ghost pepper, so freaking brilliant,
Just trying out here.
And seeing you and Ben do the worm, I would say you successfully, Ben not as much. Another thing we thought was so cool was season 1 and 2 winners, Carter and Britt, both starting fire, which was so cool. Aaron, my question here that I wrote down is, do you want to be a blonde? Because we see the blonde wig a lot, and I am curious.
Yeah, I bought 2 wigs at the beginning of quarantine. One I'm a beautiful blonde in, and the other I'm a pretty ugly blonde in. So I do wear the long, beautiful blonde hair. I think I want to be you, Kelsey. Now you have purple hair, but I think I just want to be you.
Okay, great. Shannon, we must know, how did that conversation end?
Oh.
Did you warn him? Did you warn him before the call?
I did. This is like my high school boyfriend. We're like good friends today. I texted him. I said, "Can I do this?" He's always down for a fun bit. So yeah, it's fine.
I'm seeing someone asshole just ask this from the comments. Aaron, are you returning the computer to Costco?
Yeah, I'll probably be doing that pretty shortly here. Need that money kind of back in the bank. So we'll be doing that.
I hope you guys had fun on that scavenger hunt one. It was truly like so much fun to watch and to see. And we'll definitely have to do it again. Before I move on to the thank you portion of the night, does anyone have anything they want to cover or say before I go into that?
Thank you, producers and Kelsey.
Yeah, Charlotte.
I feel like it's like the elephant in the room, but obviously Deanna for fan favorite.
There was no fan favorite this season. We love you all. We did not want to make any of the viewers have to decide who their fan favorite was. So we blazed past it this season. Ben, do you want to say the thing that you wanted to say in your QI goodbye and then I didn't let you?
Oh, sure, yes. But I also want to say, please release all the tapes of Chris singing from the scavenger hunt.
Oh, we have. There's so many good ones. Him in the car singing. There's so many good ones.
There were like, 10 singing things, and Chris did them all, and Chris slayed them all. And they were such a moment of lifting at least the big green people up in a trying day. So shouts to Chris. Yeah, one thing that Kelsey and I talked about when I got voted off for a third time, the only person to ever play 3 times and of course get voted off 3 times, was one of the magical things about QI, and that I think as adults, in our world, we often stay inside our boxes and don't always challenge ourselves. I mean, the world challenges us, but we often do it in a very reactive manner. And I think the real amazing thing about the Quarantine Island is that it forces us to go outside of our comfort zones, to learn and try new skills. Like, look at that scavenger hunt. How many people were forced to come up with something totally outside the box and do something crazy? To talk to people you never would have come across because you live yourself. We all live our lives in the people we've grown up with, in the communities, and oftentimes we stick in them. And this community has been so diverse from people's backgrounds and life experiences and locations. It really challenges you to figure out what matters to you, you know, and values and what you stand for. And I am just so grateful that in a year in which a lot of people were dealing reactively with difficult circumstances, this was an opportunity to challenge ourselves positively and to really grow. And it's a reminder to me to find ways to challenge myself, you know, to challenge what I believe, to challenge what I think I can do. And I think the producers and you, Kelsey, have enabled that to happen. And the people that are on this show support that type of challenging yourself. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm just so grateful for the ability to challenge myself and grow.
Thank you, Ben. Cool. I'm gonna go into our thank yous. So here we go. First, I want to thank all the people who are guests on QI Reply. Really appreciate you giving your time and going on that and talking with Jake. Now that we all know he's a monster and just like can't be dealt with, like really just like shouts out to you for going along with Jake. But really, I want to thank Jake as well, who did every single QI Reply, I think, except for one night this entire time, and is just like, Charlotte said it to me, and it's such an apt thing. Like, Jake is one of the few people you will meet who is so funny and never punches down. He is always lifting everyone up, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to run QI Reply this season during this challenging, complex season. I just adore Jake so much, and I'm so grateful that he ran with it and was willing to do it. And I was going to call him our all-star. He's officially our all-star because you guys will all see, but every single QI Reply, he opened with a Smash Mouth song. And like, you have to respect the commitment, which we love so much. I want to thank all the loved ones and friends and families who supported our players and said, okay, to our players doing this again. I know it's not easy to have a player like on their phone the whole time or on their computer and all of that, and it really takes over. And so I'm just very grateful to those of you out there who provided that support. I want to thank Carby and Britt for our incredible merch store. Britt just helped with the redesign of the brand. Carby made it happen. Please feel free to check it out if you'd like to. If you don't, that's fine. I'm going to buy so many things myself. Really appreciate you guys doing that with me. I want to thank all the players for doing All-Stars. You're all actually insane, but I adore all of you for being willing to do this once again. And then I want to thank the producers. Forgive me, I am going to read off screen again. As I mentioned last night, this season was one of the most challenging things I've ever gone through. As my dad pointed out to me before it even started, I was insane to do this on top of my job, but I was able to do it because of the producing team. Carby, Katie, and Corey, you guys producers, turn your cameras on so we can all look at you and like smile at you and clap hands for you. Thank you. Oh, I like it, Carby. Okay, Carby, Katie, and Corey, you had never produced TQI before, and you all jumped in so eagerly with so much energy and so many fresh, incredible ideas. This game was really elevated this season, as all players can attest to. And you guys just threw so much of yourselves into it, and I so appreciate that. And you make no money from it, so that really shows who you are as people and that you really love this game. I have to find where I was. I will never be able to thank you enough for going on this journey with me and stepping in to produce on a season that was bonkers, balls to the wall, and also had many of your friends playing this game. it's so hard to have friends or ones you care about play this game and be a bystander, not be able to warn them or tell them things and stuff like that. And I know how hard it can be. So I really so appreciate you guys for doing that and stepping up to the challenge and just being incredible at it. Lastly, I want to thank Marissa, beautiful, lovely Marissa. Marissa was a season 1 viewer, one of like 3. And then she came aboard to produce in season 2, and she has produced every season since. She is the main reason I'm able to get through each season. Sorry. And on top of working her job, producing in her own personal life, she's always there to support me and the players. Marissa is one of the best people I've ever met, and I'm constantly striving to be more like her. Truly, the thing I've loved most about this experience is how many of you have now been exposed to Marissa. Like, the world needs more Marissa, and I'm so glad more of you got to meet and know her. And the gem that she is. Marissa, I'm so grateful, so deeply grateful for what you do and doing this with me and being my friend through it. And I say it to you all the time in text, but like, truly TQI is possible because you do it with me. It's not just like a Kelsey thing. I'm only able to do it because of you. So thank you so much, producers. Truly love you all. Incredible job this season. There's no QI reply tonight, of course. I do want to, oh, yes, Carter.
I just wanted to say on behalf of the players, thank you all producers and Kelsey so much. I've been on both sides of this, and it is, you have no idea how much it goes into this game, and to do such an intense game with all-stars, a challenge every night, it is truly astounding how much work y'all put into this and how much that no one will ever know. And I just want to thank you all for being able to give us the opportunity to play this game again that we love so much, and get to play it with friends and, you know, have new experiences and go all out. We got together and we all are buying you dinner individually, sending you some gift cards. I'll send you those later tonight, but thank you all so much and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Carter, and thank you for reminding me. I forgot. Britt helped me make cute little coupons for all the producers to get, now it sounds so bad saying it aloud, but to get merch from the store. But you all said vocally you wanted merch. I'm not making this up or forcing it on you. I want to congratulate Jerry again. Something I often fail to do in reunions is to remember to bring it back to the winner. And the person who texts me every time and reminds me is my dad. He's always like, you forgot to bring up Tommy again. You forgot to bring up Britt again. So Jerry, I really just, I hope you soak it in and know how hard you worked and played this season. And I am thrilled to have you represent this all-star season. I love you very dearly and I'm so proud of you. And lastly, I'm just going to shout out my dad again. Although Vic and I are now in contention for winning my dad over, but Dad, I just so appreciate you being willing to play this game again and just for having my back. I feel very lucky and I love you a lot.
Love you too. Congratulations. Congratulations,
Love you
everybody.
too.
Thank you, Dad. Everyone have a good night. Have good holidays. We'll catch up soon, hopefully. And yeah, just love to you all. Bye.
Love you.